Hello friends, this short video is on how to pass the AWS Developer Associate Certificate. I had passed this exam a while back, but I thought it's best for me to share some of the tips and tricks that are required to pass this exam on the first attempt. As the name suggests, this is an associate level exam, so ideally candidates having 1 to 2 years of experience in the industry working hands-on on AWS services like EC2, Lambda and others should be attempting this exam, but enthusiastic freshers and people who want to showcase their profile can also attempt this exam after some preparation. So this exam is like associate level exam, so difficulty level of the questions are from moderate to difficult. Answers are mostly multiple choice, so there can be one correct answer or more than one, and there are no negative marking. There are 65 questions in which 5 to 10 questions are not marked. This entirely managed by AWS, and anybody who has prepared for this exam for 1 or 2 months should be able to pass this exam, and ideally they should attempt all the questions that would ensure they pass the exam with flying colors, and like the pass mark for this exam is 720. So just target for some practice exam and target for something above 48 or 50 out of 65. That gives some confidence before appearing for the real one. I recommend everyone to use the Udemy material Ultimate AWS Certified Developer by Stephen Marek. It's a widely used Udemy material, and Stephen is a very famous person in the AWS space. So strong emphasis is given on topics like AWS Lambda and X-rays and DynamoDB in his material, and it's very easy to understand even for someone who is beginner. I had like 6 months to 1 year experience when I appeared for this exam. I did prepare for from Stephen Marek's material, and also I appeared for practice exam. I appeared for the Stephen Marek and Abhishek tutorials, Dojo, and Wiz Labs, and also some of the scenario-based questions in AWS white papers. So I think it's an absolute must if for anybody who is a beginner to go through the Ultimate AWS Certified Developer Associate by Stephen Marek. But there are like others like from Pluralsight and rest, so anybody can use their material. But a good practice would be to create your own AWS free tier account and try to practice these services like AWS Lambda and CloudWatch and as much as possible before attempting any of the exams. And strong emphasis should be given on topics like AWS Lambda, Dynamo, and continuous integration and continuous deployment. From practice exam standpoint, like Stephen Marek and Abhishek is something that I recommend everyone to attempt. There are about 5 practice tests, out of which anybody who is passing any of these exams on the first attempt with scores between 72 or even 69, 69 is a fail, but should be confident that they are good to go. John Bonso's question is like in depth. They are scenario based questions, but they are very similar to the actual exam, but John Bonso's set is quite difficult compared to the actual exam. So I would recommend practice as much as possible before attempting the real exam. So just to conclude, like practice in your own AWS tier, free tier, and try to focus more on AWS Lambda, Dynamo, DB, and services around AWS security. Dedicate more time for concepts related to AWS DynamoDB. Appear for as many exams as possible. Failure should not deter your confidence, and try to focus on the areas where you are lacking knowledge. Try to brush up those areas. Review your mistakes after appearing for each exams, and finally try to go through AWS white published white papers and try to find the answers to scenario based questions. Thank you and best of luck for your exams, friends.